Good morning. Welcome to the SHAC. Is anybody there apart from myself? Come on in. It's nice and cool in here. I've got the fan on before it gets too warm. We're a funny bunch, aren't we? We moan when it rains, we moan when it's cold, and then we moan when it's hot. Now we're all counting the days until it cools down again. Come on in. Paul, could you just let me know that the sound is okay, please? And then we should get started. I'm early to the party because we're going to start something new today. Good morning, ladies. It's good to have your company. I can see Lynn and Helen and Jill. Good. That makes 4 of us. Oh, 5 of us. Excellent. Sharon's here too. So here we are in the SHAC, in the shade. I did bring some water. Yeah, I think cold drinks are good. Lots of water. Hello, Ken. Come on in. Ah, nice. No moaning about the heat. Come on. We only get a couple of weeks of this a year. It was really lovely yesterday, sitting in the shade under the umbrella in the garden, drawing pictures. I enjoyed that. It's nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think you just have to pick your spot, don't you? Pick your spot. Come on in. Sound is good. Thank you, Paul. Okay. So today I thought, because we just had a mammoth trip, SHAC bus trip to Camelot in the time machine. So the artwork I've been seeing on Clarity Worldwide is just supreme. If you're wondering what this is all about, if you're new to the SHAC, this is a place where we all gather on a Monday and a Wednesday at 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, English time, and we gather at 10 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays. We get together and we keep each other company, don't we? And we doodle and we draw, and well, it started out just to keep each other company primarily during the lockdown. And we enjoyed it so much, we decided to carry on hanging out. And that's why this is our 214. Can you believe that? 214. Good, isn't it? And they're all recorded. They're all there. Did you see that lady yesterday on Facebook? I think she's from the States. Am I right in thinking Birmingham, Alabama? I think so. And this lady in I'm sure she said Birmingham, Alabama. She's caught up. She's done all the projects. Did you see that on Facebook? And it was just quite overwhelming. You don't realize how much we've done, us shackers, until somebody takes on all our projects and works their way through them in their own time rather than in lifetime like we do. Because when you can't see the spot you're standing on, can you? So we just trundle along. But it's just quite amazing to see, Africa and Japan and all those places that we went to. Just beautiful. Yeah, it was cool. Very cool indeed. And today we're in the SHAC and we're going to do the Marina Fedotova colouring. Because I thought it would be nice to... because Camelot, I finished mine. Well, you could carry on titivating forever, couldn't you, with this? So this was my Camelot in the end. And yeah, I was very happy with that. And I saw some supreme ones. So hold on to this. I mean, if you were going to a jousting festival and this were the poster, you can see it, can't you, with a big scroll around the bottom. This weekend, festival, jousters. This would make a good poster, wouldn't it? And so would yours. So would loads of yours. Yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it? But I haven't finished with that yet. That's a work in progress, that one. So I'm going to put that somewhere safe. But we enjoyed it. It was quite challenging, I would say. But we broke it down and we conquered it. And so today we're going to travel gently because it's hot and I've got a headache. So I thought we'd go slow, and we're going to use these beautiful Marina Fedotova postcards. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about. Now, many of you have got these, and many of you are poised, and so sporadically, what we do, we come in here, don't we? Is my sound okay, Paul? Because I can see somebody can't hear. Daphne's struggling. Go and have a look what Daphne's up to. But you can see here, these are the postcards, and we've got Christmas postcards. And from time to time, what it is there are 3 different sets of Marina Fedotova. We have the license. We license her beautiful artwork because I just think it's exquisite. In fact, what we started out, as the part on parchment. Do you remember we printed them on just beautiful? Check it out. Look, see. So we printed these gorgeous Marina Fedotova poppets onto parchment. There you go. Look, see. And we've got flower ones, and we've got birthday ones. She's pretty, but they're actually, you can see here, they're actually printed onto parchment, which is pretty special. Look. So you can do all your work, you can put your frames round, do all your grid work. It's pretty lovely. Yeah. So, and then we thought, cool, wouldn't that be beautiful if just for us to colour in? So Lisa at work, she created these postcards, because Lisa's the postcard girl at work. And she created 3 sets. And in each set, there are 6 different designs, and there are 2 of each. So what you get is, this is one that we've already done. So you get a large one, but then you get the small one. Now the small one of these, it doesn't say peace on it, it's just a little girl. And then that's our doodler. See, so we've got one for honing our colouring skills, and then we've got one for doodling. So the Christmas one, see the large one, and then the small one. So it's large, and then it's small. And so this one always, it's great really, because it means that we can doodle and we can colour. It's entirely, and we can do both. So that was a little bit of the negative art, when you make the image pop. Really nice anyway. So that was a Christmas one. We're not going to do that today. Then we got the whimsy ones. These are the little fairy, gorgeous. I remember when we got these, we sent a set to our granddaughter, and she was so excited. See, large, small, large, small. Yeah, she was so excited, and she was putting them all out on the table, like that one's for that friend and that one's for that friend, and she shared them all out, and then she coloured them all in and gave them all to her friends, which was really lovely. So, but you can see how what we're doing is we're taking the smaller one and then we're learning other tricks. So that was the fairy ones. They're really pretty actually. They're really nice for colouring in. And then we got the flower ones. And the flower ones, I think we've already done one. Yeah, we did this one, which is really nice. See, that's the large one. I'm just having a quick recap because I know that there are newcomers always to the SHAC. See, and that's a small one. But in actual fact, all you've got is her in there. We doodled all the background, didn't we? We made the landscape. So that's pretty cool. I never got to colour mine in. Did you? Did you colour yours in? Yeah, so I thought these are pretty nice. These are sort of the birthday ones. I mean, when you colour this in, it makes a beautiful card topper. Just trim it up and layer it up. See, that is that one, plus our doodles. And that's what we do in the SHAC, isn't it? We try to sort of emulate Marina's flourish, her hand. I think we did very well with that. So we've got all the different birthday ones, and the one I want to go to today is that one. There you go. Because it's nice and hot and we should be dipping our toes in some cool water. So I thought, this is what we're going to do. Have you got that one? That one from the flower set. I think that would be absolutely peach. Okay. And So we're going to use this one, and then the little one, I think it will probably take us a couple of days to finish this one, because I've got a couple of tricks I want to show you. And then this one we could do next week, and we can do a really lovely landscape. I'll come up with something nice. Right, but today we're going to concentrate on just literally colouring in. How's that sound? Good. And I'm going to pretend there's somebody in here that's completely new to the fold. Is anybody actually new to the fold? Hands up. Are you relatively new? Is this the first time that you've done a Marina Fedotova, one of our Poppet postcards? Yeah? Well, what we're going to do, because I thought we'll keep it simple, travel gently, calm it, Kermit. Hey, definitely. Today is a good day to do that. This is my sharpening box. And I thought we'd go with the pergoliners. These ones. We own Pergamano, so let's use the pencils. They're a good price, and I thought I would show you how you can use the aqua pencils, because if you look at the box, right, you've got 20 watercolor pencils, and then you've got 16 blending pencils, right? So when you look at the box, 20 of them up to there, all that lot, are aquarelles, and these ones are the blending pencils. So we automatically think that we have to use these when we're colouring in, because they're like the polychromos, you know. And yeah, you know, if you know me, even just that little bit, you know I'm Faber-Castell runs through me like a Brighton rock. I am absolutely love Faber-Castell, love polychromos. We sell them, you know. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we? Right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pencils. But not everybody can afford. I think we sell these for £90. A lot of money, 90 quid for 60 pencils. But they are the Rolls Royce of the pencil world. The pergoliners, beautiful too. Fraction of the cost. They're not polychromos, but they. And this is what we're going to do today. Is we're going to show you that just because it says aquarelle pencils, it doesn't mean you have to use water. Doesn't mean you have to use water. You can use watercolor pencils dry, you know. Never ever think that your work isn't going to be as good because you haven't got the best, you know. It's not that. You can, if you get the techniques right and you learn about pressure and layering, and there's just a couple of little tricks. If you can learn that, right? Listen, you don't need to have the most expensive in the cupboard, you know. You can produce beautiful work with other tools as well, with lesser tools. Okay. I mean, one day when you're hooked on colouring and you love it so much, then absolutely treat yourself. And I think we do a lot of the polychromos, the real key ones. We sell them separately, don't we, Paul? You know, you can buy them one at a time. And I don't think there's an overlap between the box of 60 and the 12 that we sell separately. So, you know, but today we're going to use watercolor, and we're going to use them dry, and then maybe add a little flash of water afterwards, because it's, well, we'll get started and then you'll get what I mean. So let's take our box of pergoliners and let's use the aqua pencil. I mean, listen, if you've got your polychromos at the ready, use your polychromos. This is your art. I'm talking to the person who's new to the fold, who maybe hasn't even got pergoliners, just got a colour, you know, the kids' pencils. Use what you've got. Use what you've got. The whole purpose of the SHAC, the whole purpose of the SHAC is to join in. Get with your hands, get out of your head. Doesn't matter what the result is really. It's about that process, okay? That's what this is all about. So put that to one side. Get our pencils ready. And the first thing, right, and this is, let's get these in here, the aqua pencils. The first thing I need is, right, the only B pencil I'm going to use is the white one, And confessional, right, I was actually also using the polychromo white one after all that waffle, because it's because it's easy to detect. You don't go to the aqua one. That was why. That was the only reason why, because it stands out and it's obvious. Right, now let's have a look. So colours, what are we going to use? I tell you what I'm going to go with. I'm going to make this all lilacs and pinks and love. I tell you where I'm going from. You know, Marina Fedotova, she's a master of her craft. And I thought, well, why reinvent the wheel? I love the colours that she's used. So let's take this out of here. Here you go. Let's take this out of here on the parchment, and let's use hers as a guide, because that will give us a really good colour indicator. Okay? How's that sound? So if that's the case, and then, right, so that's going to be, for the dress, I'm going to use the 6. Yeah. I think I'll use, for the flowers, I think I'll go with the 9, that pink. Then there's a really nice pink for the fleshy colours, which is a 10. Now, there's a brown in here for the shade, if you haven't got greys, 17. Right, so I've got 6, 9, 10, and 17. I need a green. Let's go with that lovely leafy green. 15. There you go. Let's grab the 15. I mean, whether we get to all this today is another thing. Now, her hair. This is a cool colour, 18. Right, that's a nice colour. And we might add a little flash of orange and red and yellow right at the end. Because, oh, and then the blue we need for the water. So we're going to use 5 for the water. There you go. That's it. That's me lot. How's that sound? See, and the reason that I'm pulling them out of the box is because I don't want to grab, it's a habit. Because we always go for the B pencils, the blending pencils, don't we? It's a habit, and I want to isolate. I'm using the watercolour pencils, so there you go. So I'm taking them out of the box, and I'm just going to put that there, and I'll just use the ones I've got loose now. Okay, right, and this is the colour we're going to go to, and I'm going slowly. I'm gonna got my mix mat out, just so that if I down the road, we might not get to that till Wednesday. But I've got some water brushes and a mix mat, so might use that, but not till Wednesday. Okay, nice. So this is the colourways we're going to go to. Shall I come in a bit tighter, a bit closer? Or can you see it okay there? Maybe come in a bit tighter, shall I? Yes, Bob. That's a good idea. How's that? Having asked you all last week, how are you watching? And the vast majority of you either use your telephone or a tablet, like an iPad. So this must be really tiny. If I was using my phone and then I'm miles away on your phone, that's quite a challenge on the old eyes. What do you think? Right, come on. Drink the water. Drink lots of water. Good. It's good for you. Right. Don't put sparkling water in these, or you will learn something that you could learn in no other way. As Mark Twain said, swing a cat by the tail and you will learn something that you could learn in no other way. Put sparkling water in one of these and find out what happens. It was like that. Hilda will remember. If Hilda, we were in Scotland at the SECC in March last year, and I took the lid off, and this water rocket went like that, and we all looked up, and then it hit us as it was coming back down again. I got soaked. Right, come on. I'm going to start with the dress. How about you? And so you would assume, wouldn't you, that we're going to get the lilac out? No, we're going to get the white blending pencil out. I know. Really? You want the white one, but you don't want the white watercolour one. You want the one that creates the resist. You know, the one that creates a seal, the white. So let's have a look at them. See, because I'm pretending that you're new to the fold. B1, blending pencil, or polychromo. These are oil-based pencils, remember? So they'll create a seal. And what we're going to do is put a white, pretend that the light is coming from the top. Let's just do this. And then we'll add a bit of white. You need to have a good sharp pencil, a good white point. Then where you put the white here, what this is going to do is the lilac, it won't be able to go into these areas where we add white, you see. So let's do a little vest. Add a bit of white in there, along the edge there. We're going to put loads of it in the flowers too, but we need to get the effect first. You see, now coming off this little flower here, let's add a couple of little pleats, and it will just give us just a little flick like that. That's it. I know you can't see it because you think, well, what is the game here? But you will see it, just not right now. Let's do a couple of little white bits. If you've got what you'll find is when you use the difference between the pergolina and the polychromo, the only thing that I really would say is you'll see it's harder. You'll get what you pay for. But the pergolinas are excellent, but you'll know the difference. So either or. But what we want to do is get some white down. And if you hold it to the light, I'm just holding it to the light now, and it's good because it shows me where I've added a bit of white. I might add a little bit of white up there. Hang on, let's use the B pencil. Right, B pencil. Okay. That's it. Now, have you got a piece of card that's the stencil card? So it's the same type of card as this. It's exactly the same. This is our stencil card that we've printed onto. So that means that it can take the water, etc., etc. Right? So what we're going to do now is get a really nice, you've got choices, haven't you? You can either get you need a soft flat, let's have a look, like that. Just do that until it's soft and flat. Or you can take one of these sanding blocks, can't you? And then that will give you the flat. It will happen a lot faster with a sanding block. Right, now what we're going to do is, and what we're doing now is just, it will go fast in a minute when we get started, but you're going to go really, really lightly. Just do it on a piece of paper now to get your eye in, and you're doing circular motions really lightly, and you're almost hardly touching the card. Try it really, really lightly so you can barely see it. Right? Now transfer the same amount, that light pressure, over onto the dress. And as you go over that white, where you've laid down the white, as you go over it, you'll feel it, and you'll see that the lilac colour, what number is this? A6. It just doesn't. It just glides over the top of the white pencil. So that's a really useful thing to know. So you put the white down first, and it will give you your highlights. It just gives you your highlights. See, I can see exactly where my highlights are. So it's so much easier than trying to avoid an area. See? So we just get a layer of the lilac down. Here we go, like that. You can leave a little bit white if you like, but light circular motions. And because we're using a dry, so if you go over into her arm, no matter, because you can rub it out. It's watercolor pencils. You can rub them out when they're dry. When they're wet and they stain the card, then you can't rub it anymore. You can't erase it anymore, you see. Right, so let's get some. It's going to go fast, you watch. And I think, can you see this okay? Let me just see if I come up to this camera here. Perhaps you can just lightly, maybe you can see the resist. I don't know if you can see that okay. You will in a minute when we start pressing a little bit harder. Let's go back and let's add another generation of colour. Let's go another layer. So again with that flat edge. Now let's go into the area where we feel it should be darker. So my thoughts are that it would be darker there, along here. See it? In there. Oh, that's her white top. Right, in here. And then if you turn the pencil round so that it's not so flat, you'll see that you get a much darker effects. And now what we're doing is we're adding some shade. Here we go. Layers. It's all about layers. So let's add a little bit of shade in there. And we're using watercolor pencils, but we haven't added any water yet. Okay, because we're going to get that resist. I want to take out that lilac there. I don't want the lilac on her vest. That's it. See, I put a bit more white on that, then it won't do that anymore. Let's just colour that little vest in white. There we go. Now I can't do that anymore. Okay. Right, so now let's put some shade in where we think the shade should be. It'll be dark in there. Here we go. It'll be dark in there, won't it? Be dark in that pleat there. So you just press a little bit harder. See, the thing about watercolor or aqua pencils as well, the A pencils in the pergolina box, apart from being able to use them dry like this, they're also brilliant for layering. So you see, parchers, when they colour in on parchment, see, parchment as a material, it doesn't like water. It doesn't like getting wet. So what parchers do is they use the B pencils, the ones that create that seal. They create a seal or a protective barrier, if you like, between the parchment and the colour. So they'll take the B pencils. That's why when you go to the pergoliners, you'll see that the colours almost are duplicated, watercolour and blending pencils in the main. And the idea is that what parchers do is they create a barrier between the parchment and the watercolour pencils, or with the B pencils. The B pencils are like the blockers, like the white here. And then after that, you see, they can go in with the watercolor pencils and add water, and the water can't get through to the parchment because you've created a wall. And now you know the rest of the story. But you probably already knew that, didn't you? So what we'll do now is we'll add a little layer. Here we go. Right. Okay. So that'll be all right for the dress. We will add water, but let's get the shading in and let's do that. Let's make the most of that white resist. See, it makes such a difference on the pleats. I don't know if you're feeling the benefits of this yet. Right, let's get some shading in here. Next little tip, when you do this, right, make the artwork come to you. See how I turn it all the time? What that does is just helps me. See, some people like flicking away? I mean, it depends. Sometimes you want to flick away from yourself. It depends what you're doing, doesn't it? Sometimes you want to flick in. And what you do is you just direct the pencil. See, that's quite nice and dark down there now. One thing to bear in mind, though, see, if you're using the aqua pencils, we'll be able to add water. If you're using the polychromos, the Faber-Castell pencils, they're not water-based ones. Faber-Castell do a fantastic watercolour set as well. They're called Albrecht Dürer. He was a painter, Nuremberg, yeah. And they're very good. But honestly, you're going to get a good result with these as well. You will. Right, let's have a look. So that's our little dress done. Let's leave it there for the minute. And I wonder if you can see the white resist if I hold it up. It's not done. Oh, hello, other way. Can you see the white resist? I'm not sure if you can. But either way, there are definitely little white stripes. It's good to learn it on here because now we can apply it on the flowers as well. Let's take that B pencil again. Let's take this flower or this. Let's take a flower. And what we want to do is put white stripes in the flower. You know, like veins, if you like. So we'll start from the tip and we'll just flick in like that. Let's just do that, a couple of those. So you're going to go like that, like that. Just flick in. You're going to have to hold it to the light so you can see what you're doing, because often you can't, because it's white, it's invisible. So you hold it to the light and then you can see where it's shiny. See, I'm looking now. Let's just do one flower and then see what you're doing first before you do all of them and then wish you hadn't. Okay? Bit of white in there. Right. Now, that's my white one. Let's take this pink one now. Let's try a different colour. Okay. So again, flat of the pencil. Let's go gently does it. We want to make it really delicate like she is. Okay, think delicate. Right. Bit of pink through there. And what you'll see is as you go over the petals, where you've added white lines, there'll be white lines now. There you go. You can see where you've added your veins with the white pencil. You can't do it the other way around. You can't do the pink and then put the white over the top. Won't work. It's a sequence, that's all. It's just a simple sequence. But you can see how. See, now the other thing about what I love about the Marina Fedotova postcards, this is one of the best bits, is because they're drawn in such a sketchy, sort of loose, free way, it doesn't matter. Look, see, when you look at her artwork, it's very easy to colour in because it doesn't have to be perfect because she's drawn her in such a sketchy, lovely way. Paul says that Facebook's having a glitch with comments. So some viewers are okay with them scrolling. Some viewers are sticking. But I would say, provided that you can hear me, then don't worry about the comments. Just chill. Hey? It is what it is. It is what it is. I've been practicing a lot of acceptance this weekend, accepting not what I want, but what I've got, you know, how I would like it to be, but how it is. There. See, that looks so cool. And the reason for that is because, of course, the kids want to come home from the States. I haven't seen Mark for 2 years now, and he's made his mind up that he wants to come home as well with his sister, and he's desperate to. I could just tell yesterday when we were talking on FaceTime, I could tell that he's had enough now. You know, it's been 2 years in San Francisco, and you know, he's making the best of a situation. You know, that's Mark. That's what he does. But I could tell yesterday that he's ready. He wants to come home now. He wants to see his mum. You know, and I get that. That's a long time. This is dark, isn't it? But it's okay. I'm doing it deliberately a little darker so that you can see it well. Now let's take some lilac and let's just add a little flash of lilac, and you'll see, there we go, a little bit through the flower as well. But you see where the white is? So you can blend the colours as well. You see what we're doing now is we're adding a little bit of a different colour. Now, let me tell you, yeah, so a lot of acceptance. I can't control what's going on. You see, because at the moment, as it stands, if you're flying in from the USA, this is the stickler. If you're flying in from the USA, regardless of whether you have a vaccination or not, both Mark and Grace have both of their vaccines, right? But what they don't have is 10 days holiday to quarantine. Mark, the American companies don't give you that kind of holiday time like we have in England. So by the time, if he comes here and he has to quarantine for 10 days because we're on amber, so that means if you're traveling in from, it's just one of those things. America is on the amber list, which means that if you're traveling in, you have to take tests and you have to quarantine for 10 days when you get here. So that means, I mean, there is a possibility, Mark was saying over the Optimist. He was saying that, let's go to the next flower up here. He was saying that you can, white veins in, that maybe after 5 days you can pay to have a test done, and then perhaps you can reduce your, all things being equal and being well, you can reduce your quarantine to 5 days. That's his hope. I'm going to wait and see what the government says this afternoon. But it just is, it's not upsetting, but yeah, I guess it is a little bit when you can see that your kids just want to get home and they, you know, enough's enough kind of thing, and they're trying anything to get back, and it's just not working, you know. And yeah. So this weekend, there's been a lot of acceptance. I've been just dealing with it, you know. It is what it is. And they need to, you know, but I need to have my mum hat on, my acceptance hat on, before, yeah, before, if the news is bad and they can't come, you know, I need to have my optimists. Oh, it'll be all right. It'll be fine. We'll get there. See, we're not even allowed, I'm not allowed to travel to America. We're not even allowed to go there. And you know, I wouldn't want to. There's a fact. I'm not interested. So why would you do that? So you can see when we're doing the colouring though, can you see how you're getting that whiteness, even though you're going over the whole flower, you're getting that white resist. So that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And then we can add a little bit of, just again with the watercolour pencil, a little bit of lilac. It is, so you can see now why though I've pulled them out of the box, can't you? Hey? So this is nice. This is nice. And then what we can do, let me show, what's the time? 25 to. Okay, let's do another flower. White next. Always the white first. Right, I'm going to put a vein down there. One of the other things when you're doing this is now we're kind of laying down the ground colour, right? But as we start going in with detail, I mean, you could sketch it and have it done in 5 minutes if you felt inclined. Or you could kind of take your time and be very measured in your color strokes, you know? Everybody does this differently. Everybody, let's go lightly. Everybody has a different way of coloring, and there'll be people watching now that have already done it. They're already finished. And then there'll be people that are still on the first flower. And that's okay too. It's not a race. It's not a competition. Is it? See? It's like yoga for the mind. It's just a nice, relaxing thing to do. Yeah, look, see? I love it when you get that white resist. So once you've done that, see, that was a particularly good one. Have a look. So I'm pressing harder than I probably would if I were doing this work just for pleasure, because I know that it's not so easy for you to see it if it's too delicate. So have a look up close, see if you can see the resist now, the white list. So B pencil or a polychromo white first, and then over the top. And the best part of it is, if I wanted to add a bit of water now, which would it would blend the colours in beautifully, so it looks more aquarelle, right? The trick with the white B pencil is still good. That water colour will not go over it will flow over it, but it's like a plastic sheet. It won't go in. It's created a protective seal. And that's why you have to do it in this order. Okay. Right. So we've done that. Now let's have a look. Should we do the dragonfly? Right, where's my white one? Got a white one here. I feel I should be using pergoliners. There's a good price on the pergoliners, I think, today, if you haven't got any. That bit of white. Now let's go with that blue. It's a bit bright, but we'll get there. And it doesn't have to be bright. You can just go lightly. Now, what did I want to talk to you about? Oh, I know. Oh, I've got something really cool. Oh, yeah, you're going to love this. Okay, what are you doing Friday night? Got anything lined up Friday night? Yeah? No? That'll do. We'll spread that out in a minute. Have you got anything going on Friday night? All right, I've got to tell you now. Do you fancy a craft along on Friday night with me? I've been thinking that we ought to get together on Friday night, because here's the thing. Okay. The open days, normally when we have our open days, hundreds of people flock down to the southeast of England, and we have a kind of like a celebration, if you're not familiar with it. And there are hundreds of people come down, and we have a couple of days in a great big hall, and all the Clarity team and the demonstrators, and I'm up and down on a chair like a yo-yo, having raffles and prizes, and it's just a celebration of all things Clarity. And the one in Ditton is huge. We also go up to Leyburn, up to the north, up to Yorkshire. But of course, last year we couldn't. And this year, the reality of it is we can't. I don't really, whatever the government thinks, if it's safe, I have to use my intuition and my common sense. And we are of a certain age, and we are of a certain health place. us crafters, not all of us, but a lot of us. And I don't want to risk. For me, it's health and safety first. And so, of course, the open days are not going to be taking place this year. However, our open days celebration can be directed online. You know, we did it last year and we had a brilliant time. Grace in New York, me over here, and through the blogs, we're just driving competitions and raffles and quizzes and giveaways and projects, and really, really cool. It's just, it starts Friday, this coming Friday, and it goes all the way through the weekend. I don't know whether it stops Sunday night or Monday night, but that's what we do. I think we wind it down on Sunday. Anyway. So we had a big meeting about it last week, what we're going to do, and all the different giveaways and the prizes and the raffles and who's doing what blog and blah, blah, blah. So we were talking about it. And then I said, full of good ideas, I said, what about Friday night? Because I've been talking about having a pajama party. I said, well, why don't I have a bumper craft along on Friday night? So, and we won't do anything like with new stuff that everybody has to go and scramble to get. We'll use different stamps. It's going to be stampy because I'm a stamper, right? We'll use different stamps and we'll do a craft along, but we'll do several different stamps. So you may have this set or you may have that set. You may join in there or you may join in there, or you may, if I tell you what it is, you may buy it quickly and join in anyway, or you may want to top up what you've already got. And the idea is, I thought if we start at 7 o'clock in the evening, I'll show you what we're going to use. We'll start at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then we'll do the first project and a couple of little bits and pieces, right? And then, and this is the key, rather than when we're finished, and I don't know how long it's going to take, say it takes 1.5 hours, say, right? Then we'll have a break, right? And we'll switch off, and then you can go and put your pajamas on, get a glass of what you fancy, get a cup of cocoa, right? Put the lights on, put the cats out, blah, blah, blah. And then after half an hour or so, we'll gather together again, and then we'll go again. And we'll spend the whole evening just hanging out and crafting, okay? Sounds good? I think so. And what we're going to use, I tell you what, I've got it all, I've been preparing. See all these boxes here? This is it already preparing, because it takes a lot of time, all that sort of stuff. But so what I'll show you is the stamps that I'm going to use if you want to craft along. And again, if you don't want to craft along, if you just fancy hanging out, I'm sure it will be great, just fun, bit of banter, bit of this. I'll show you the artwork on the boards of the stamps that we're going to use, rather than all the different stamps. I think this will be easier. Right, let me just check, because a lot of you will have it, and Paul has already organised, and we've also put if you haven't got it, we've put a keen price on it, on all this stuff. And if you order it today, we'll make sure that you have it in good time for Friday. Okay, that's a promise. Now let's have a look. So what we're going to use, I thought we'd use the butterfly wreaths. We're going to use those. Yeah. We're going to use the butterfly wreaths. So if you've got them, make sure you got them out. Then we're going to use, do you remember these? Do you remember the feel-good words? Let me come out a little bit so you can see them. Right, the feel-good words. We got joy, we got luck, we got smile, we got wish. I mean, this is very SHAC, isn't it? We've got love. I'm definitely going to be using the love one, okay? It doesn't matter. You could do what we're going to do with any one of these. If you don't fancy love and you want smile, anyone you've got, any one of these will do the job. But I'm going to be using the love one. And then same again, we've got, what else we got? We've got laugh, we've got magic, peace. That's nice. Peace and understanding. There's a song, isn't there? Peace, love and understanding. Light of my life. We've got light and we've got dream. I'm going to go with dream. Dream big. Okay. So this is what we're going to use, is dream big. Right. So we've got that one. We've got that. We've got those. Using a couple of those. Now with these ones, these were on the telly recently. Our art blocks, weren't they? These are nice. Do you remember these? Right, and I think I'm going to go probably with the mushroom, the toadstool, and that one. Okay? But any one of these will do the job. If you fancy one of the other ones, you might want to get the deer. You may love the hare. You might love the little lovebird tree. I like that one. And that's the ginkgo one. That's very arty, that one. Right, so then we've got that one. And then the last thing I'm going to use, and I know I will with the love, is that word. I love this. See, this is what, you remember when we had the chess set? Oh no, we're going to use it. Maybe use those as well if we get time. I mean, listen, if we're going to be hanging out for 4 or 5 hours, we've got to have something in the cupboard, haven't we? So, but I'm definitely, remember the chess sets, the grungy ones with the textures? It's this one I need. This one here. These are beautiful. But yeah, so there you go. And the wee folk. So maybe you've got all of that. I know plenty of you do. And I know who you are. There'll be most of you. Right? So this is the stamps. And then what Paul has done for us, I gave him a list of all the ingredients that we're going to use. And if you go on the website, Paul will give you the link and it will tell you exactly what we're going to use in the marathon craft along pyjama party on Friday. Okay, so if you fancy joining in, there we are. And we've attached some very good prices to all of that as well. So just to incentivize you to come along and join the party. You know, it won't, even if you're a newcomer, it won't be that difficult, all right? And because we're crafting along in real time, I'm not going to race ahead. Nothing too tricky. It would just be fun. It'd just be fun, okay? So that's what we're going to do. And yeah, I don't think I've forgotten anything. No, I haven't. I think that's all I wanted to say. But then on Friday, the festival will begin. The Open Day Festival, you know. Yeah. And there'll be loads to keep you company and enjoy. Right, let's have another look at this little Marina Fedotova masterpiece, shall we? And so we've added a little flash of colour there. Right, let's get the green in. So the green. Now, do you want to put a little flash of white along there? Now's the time to do it. If you want a bit of white on that green, there, that'll do. Right, let's have a look. Right, add a little white along there. Bit of green under there. Right. Okay. Just add the flashes of green where you think they belong. Okay. Needs to be quite sharp to get into those tiny. It doesn't matter if you go over the edge though. It so does not. Cool. Oh no, there's a great big long one. Look, all the way from here. Right. Through here. That'll do. Flash of green. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do, because we're loading up with colour, with the water, with the aqua pencils, but then what we'll do is we will add a little flash of water, but I want to do that on Wednesday. So now let's add everything's dry. Everything we're doing here is dry. There is a really nice colour, and I'm just looking for it. Here it is. A10. It's a really good kind of a skin colour. It's a nice light skin tone. So what I'm going to do now, I've got the flat, I've made a flat, and I'm just going to add a little flash of that light skin tone. And here we go. Just as an undercolour. And in a minute we'll go in with some brown as well. I've got some of that purple on her arm. Let me just get rid of the purple on the arm. See, all the time it's dry, you can do that. Right. Are you enjoying this? See, I find this so relaxing. This is, there we go. So we get that, and their legs. Got a bit of a purple on her knee. Right. There we go. Circular motions. Get that little foot done. And the leg behind. Here we are. Okay. Let's come in a bit closer, shall we? Right, let's have a look. Okay. So we're just going to add a little colour. Just little circular motions. Get that colour in. Okay, so this leg is tucked in, so it's going to be a little darker. That foot's going to at the back, so it's going to be a little darker. Not much. There you go. Under her chin, it's going to be a little darker, like there. Under her hairline as well, add a little bit more there. See? It's cool. It's looking really nice, Barbara. Right, light strokes. And then what we're going to do now, use that colour. Now this is a little bit radical, but we're going to do it. And this is a real good exercise in how lightly can you go. So we're going to use a brown. She's going to be a little brown girl. Or she's at least going to have some little brown shade. Right. So in here now, very, very gently, start adding some depth. There we go. See, because we're using, see how it's changing it now? Just a tiny bit. I don't know, I can see it very well where I'm sitting. I don't know if it's working. There we go. A little bit of depth there, see? Okay, and a little bit of depth there, just along that edge with the brown. That was a bit extreme, Barbara. Oh yeah, see how it's a bit of shade? Right, this hand, a little bit of depth in there. And then in this area here as well, just along that edge there. In the shade, her arm will be in the shade, won't it? There. Gently does it, you know. Gently does it. Just a little bit of shade. And under here. And the best part of this is if you overcook it, if you make it too dark for yourself, you can just take it back and go again, see? So we're going to go, it's a little bit of a melting pot here. We go from brown to, so we go from brown to this fleshy colour, peachy colour, and then we go back again. Okay. Super. There we are. Nice. And then we'll take that pink that we used for the flowers. Again, this is a really good exercise in gently does it. And we're just going to just lightly give her a little bit of a flash of pink on the cheeks. There you go. That's all it needs. Not much. Just a little bit. A little bit. There. And in her hair, I think we'll put a little flower, white first. If we want some white manes in the flower, put them in the B pencil. And then in goes the pink on the flower. So once you get into it and you're doing it for yourself, it's good to do. I love it. Right, there you go. Okay, so we've done that and that and that. And then the last thing we want to do is her hair and the fish. So I'm going to use the number 18 for this one. The number 18. And, oh, hang on. You want to put some white highlights in for her hair where the light's hitting it. So it's going to be across this top bit, really, isn't it? There you go. Just put a few little highlights in where the sun's hitting her hair. That'll do. Okay, now let's get the flat going. And then we'll just gently coming in from there. Let's just get a really nice light. She's a honey blonde girl, this one. There you are. Honey blonde. Gonna start adding some texture. Just nice. And a little bit of depth around the bottom, so we'll flick up from the base. So it ends up being lighter here, you see? Bit of depth around the back of the flower. Pretty. And we've used watercolour pencils all the way through, except to use the Resist B pencil for that. So that's a good thing, you know, because we haven't done that before. We always use the B pencils, but not the... Now, what other colour do I think I should use? I think I'm going to go with a bit of white, actually, in here. A bit of white again. There we go. And then maybe a tiny flash of that brown. Let's have a look. There's a really nice orange as well, actually, which might be nice. A little flash of orange. Hey? Should we do that? Yeah. There, so this is entirely up to you. Let's have a look in that box, see what we got. And then we're going to call it a day. And then on, I'm thinking A20, just a little flash of yellow and a little tiny bit of orange. See, what I'd like to do, really, see, that warms it up a bit. That's a nice colour, you know. Just a little bit of orange over the top of her hair. Looks really pretty. Here we are. Nice. Got the light hitting there. Didn't take long, did it? And then the fish. Come on then, fish last. No, we got to keep going because we want to do the water as well. But we do the water, right. The clue's in the word, Wasser, right? We'll do the water on Wednesday when we get together. Yeah? I think I've just about covered myself here. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. So on Wednesday at 10 o'clock when we get together, what we should do is bring a little mix mat, bring a little bit of water. If you've got these watercolor brushes, brilliant. Pergamano do a really beautiful little number 2. It's a tiny little watercolor brush. If you've got a little watercolor brush, bring that to the party as well. And then what we'll do is we'll add a layer of water to this, because that's the thing, you see. Once we do that, then we can start intensifying the colours. And what you'll find is that the water, it brightens the whole thing. You'll be surprised. So that's our little exercise today. Now, don't forget, tomorrow, we're here to keep you company. And tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, it's Groovy Tuesday. And Paul will be keeping you company, and Linda Linda Williams, she'll be joining you for the second week. She sent me I love this woman. She sent me a photograph of her dining room, which has now been converted into a TV studio. So, yeah, I guess that her and Robert are eating their supper on their laps now. But, yeah, she's dedicated, that woman. So she'll be there on tomorrow with Paul, and she'll be, I think it's quite special that Linda is joining us, because I was watching last week, and the detail and the, because she's really, really fastidious, and the quality of the camera work, it was like having a front row seat, absolutely marvelous. So, and Paul, of course, will be there to join you too. Thanks, Paul, for your help. And don't forget, we're going to gather all our bits for our pyjama party on Friday night. Lots of love to you, and stay safe. Bye-bye now.